All right, we're back with another video, and now we're going to do distance and midpoint formulas. Distance you're going to use for everywhere in your high school math. So this is super important. Again, pause when you need to write down notes if I'm going too fast, and make sure you are following along. This is on page 5 in your unit, or in your chapter 1 packet. So the distance formula, the formula for distance is d distance equals the square root, and then in parentheses, x2 minus x1 squared, and we'll talk about that, plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay? So with distance, you're going to be given coordinates. Coordinates are on a coordinate graph. We'll look at that in example 1. But with these, so say I have a coordinate 4, 3 and 5, 2. Always label to help you. So we're going to name the first coordinate. This is your x value. We're going to name that x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. And then all you need to do is plug them back into your actual equation, and that's literally the distance formula. So we are going to practice. So for example 1, we need to find the distance between the 2 points on the graph. So first you need to find the 2 points. So here, -1, -2, and then down, I think that's -3. So -2, -3. And then we also have a coordinate going -5 and then up 3. So we have -5, 3. Okay? It doesn't matter the actual order because they will always end up, even if you have negatives or positives, they'll always end up in the square root to be the same. So it doesn't matter if you have it this way or if you have it this way. It doesn't matter. But make sure you're labeling. Okay, so if I'm labeling, I'm going to have x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, all I do is plug it back in. So I have the square root of x2, which is -2, minus a -5, which is x1. So if you subtract a negative, it turns into a positive. So it's really +5 squared. And then plus, and then you have your y2 minus your y1, -3, because it's a +3 squared. And then now all you do is plug this into your calculator. So if you remember PEMDAS, parentheses go first. So you do everything in the parentheses. So -2 plus 5 is 3 squared. And then -3 minus 3 is -6 squared. And now you need to do your exponents. So if I scroll down a little bit, okay, now that I scroll down, I do my exponents. So 3 squared is the same thing as 3 times 3. So that is 9 plus -6 times -6 is 36. And then 9 plus 36 is 45, square root of 45. And then in your calculator, you need to hit the second button and then the square root button, and that does or the squared button, and that does a square root button. So you'll see the second button in your calculator, and then you'll see a button that looks like this, the square button, and that turns the second squared, turns into a square root. And you'll hit square root of 45 and just round it to the nearest tenth. So it'd be 6.7. And that would be your distance of this. So now I want you to try number 2, where it says find AB with these coordinates. And then find the distance. Yeah, you're finding the distance between AB. So try number 2 on your own. So pause it, and then I will put up the answer and unpause it to reveal it, to check your answer. So pause it now and try on your own. All right, so here's the answer. I labeled my x1, y1, x2, y2. I plugged them into my formula, so I have x2 plus or minus x1, but since 4 is a negative, then it turns into a positive. Squared plus my y2 minus my y1, and then I do my parentheses first. So I do 3 plus 4, which is 7, and then I do negative 1 minus 1, which is negative 2, and then I do my squared. So I have 7 squared, which gives me 49, and negative 2 squared, which gives me 4, and then I add them together, and I get 53. And then I plug them back into my calculator to get my square roots. So I do second x squared of square root 53, and then I get 7.3 as my answer. All right, same thing for number 3. I want you to pause this video, try it on your own, and then we will go over it. So pause now, try on your own. All right, so we labeled our coordinates, x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we plugged them into our distance formula. So we have x2 minus x1, again, 7 is negative, so when you subtract a negative, it turns into a positive, squared plus y2 minus y1, 2 is negative, so that turns into a positive. Now we need to do our squares, or our parentheses, sorry. So you need to do 11 plus 7, which is 18, and 3 plus 2, which is 5. And now you do your exponents. So 18 squared in your calculator is 324. 5 squared is 25. And then the second button and the x squared button to do your square root. Square root of 349 in your calculator, press enter, and you should get 18.7, and that is your answer for this distance. So we are finished with distance, and the next topic it's going to be midpoint. So the next video we're going to do midpoint, and we will do the practice problems on that. So see ya.